Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. We are doing today Kathopanishad, second Adhyaya, third Valli, and we are supposed to see the 10th verse, but I am going to begin with 9th verse. Na sandrishe tishthate rupamasya. Sandrisham means any conscious sight. Seeing with eyes is a sight, hearing is a sight, tasting, touching, smelling is a sight, remembering is a sight, imagining is a sight, inferring is a sight. In sandrisha means as an object, na tishtati rupamasya. The truth cannot stand as an object in one's conscious sight. And therefore, na chakshusha pashyati kaschana yenam. Nobody can objectify it through the senses. Chakshu is an upalakshanam. It stands for all the five senses. It's not that really you can't not only see, you can't hear also, you can't feel also, you can't touch also. It is a very pervasive thing for people to think that you can't see it, but you can feel it. It can't be felt also. It can't be. Feeling is also a sense perception. There is only anubhava. Anubhava is not feeling. Anubhava is something, experience. It is the evidence. Your existence is evident. And therefore, na chakshusha pashyati kaschanenam should mean only it cannot be seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelt, and it can't be imagined, it can't be believed, it can't be inferred, etc. Kaschanenam. Then how can it be known? It cannot be known. You cannot objectify it. That it cannot be objectified is called knowledge, please. You are being it. You cannot see it. You cannot see yourself. Seeing yourself means being yourself. I am not the form. You can only know yourself negatively. I am not the form. I am not the senses. I am not the mind. I am not the thought. I am not the intellect. I cannot be inferred. I cannot be imagined. I cannot be believed, etc. This is what is called knowing negatively. Neti, 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 iti. Neti, neti means not this, not this, not this. You can only know your existence as not the form, not anything that is objectifiable. Na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya, na chakshusha pashyati kaschana enam. Kaschana means anybody. Na kaschana, nobody. Enam means this. This truth nobody can see. Nobody can see through the eyes. Nobody can hear through the ears. Nobody can taste, touch, smell, infer, imagine, believe, etc. There is no need to believe your existence. It is self-evident, please. Bhagavan is not meant for belief. Bhagavan is meant to be understood as self-evident, please. If Bhagavan also needs to be believed, depends upon belief, then Bhagavan ceases to be believed. Bhagavan ceases to be Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not a matter of belief. Bhagavan is self-evident. Your existence, because Bhagavan, having created the body, himself occupies it. Tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. He created the body, he occupies the body. He created the eyes, he occupies the eyes. He created the ears, he occupies the ears. He created the senses, he occupies it. He creates the thought, he occupies it. Like the water creates the wave and occupies it. In fact, even before it occupies, it means it is present in it. The material, like the wood is present in the table. The wood, we don't have to search in the table. The wood is being, the wood is being the table. The wood is being the source. Keeping in view the table, we say the wood is the source of the table. But otherwise, wood is there. Wood is present. Presupposing the presence of the wood is the table. The table is created. The wood is present. In the same manner, water is present. The wave is created. Your being is present. You are being present. And the embodiment is created. Thought is created. I am the body is created. The senses are created. The belief is created. The faith is created. The mind is created. The intellect is created. The memory is created. Everything is created, Ji. The inference is created, whereas consciousness is. Consciousness is not created. Noise is created. The silence is not created. The silence is, and the noise is created. This is all that you have to hear, that you have to understand, Ji. Your existence is not created. Your existence is being there. And therefore, then how can it be known? If it cannot be known through the eye senses, if it cannot be objectified, if it cannot stand as an object in one's attention, then how can it be known? Hrida, non-separate from the anubhava. Hrit means anubhava, evidence. Now, it is not unevident, it is evident. Hrit means evident. I am translating it as Hrit means the heart. The heart means the evident, the evident. Hrida, Manisha. Manisha means the intellect. The intellect that is not separated from the anubhava, the evident. On the basis of evidence, you listen to the Shastra, on the basis of the evidence that it is self-evident. Your existence has to be understood as self-evident. Because even as a jiva, you are not pramana. The body is pramana vishayam. And I am the body is avidya vishayam. Whereas I is swata siddham. The atma is swata siddham. The body is pramana siddham. I am the body is avidya kalpitam. And therefore, having understood that your existence is self-evident, hrida, manisha by the intellect, manasa by the mind, abhikliptaha, having reflected. You reflect upon, you reflect through your mind and intellect. You reflect through your intellect based upon the evidence of your being. Your being can never be created, your existence, you are being there. In fact, the body presupposes your presence. Your presence doesn't presuppose the body presupposes your being. And this thinking should become your thinking, please. It should not be the Shastra's thinking, it should not remain Shastra's thinking. Let this thinking be your thinking. The body presupposes your existence and therefore stand as the being. Hrida Manisha Manasa Abhikliptaha, having done the manana through your intellect based upon the evidence of your being. Ye etad viduhu. Ye means those people. Etad viduhu, those who understand themselves. Etad means this. Viduhu. Viduhu means they understand. Amritaste bhavanti. They become eternal. Amritaha te. They. Bhavanti become. They become eternal. You don't become eternal. You only become free from non-eternity. Non-eternity is avidya kalpitam. Limitation is avidya kalpitam. Dukkham is avidya kalpitam. The opposites, the absolutes, the absolute is not Avidya kalpitam, that is your nature. Sukham, Sukham is your nature. Silence is your nature. So Shanti is your nature. And that is to be conscious, to be being is your nature. To be conscious is your nature. And to be full is your nature. And therefore, you don't have to become eternal. You have to become free from non-eternity. Non-eternity is avidya kalpitam. And to become free from avidya means to become free from avidya kalpitam. To become free from avidya kalpitam is what is called to become free from avidya. And therefore, ye yatad viduhu amritaste bhavanti. You don't have to be yourself. People say be yourself. I say you don't have, that's not a mandate. You don't have to be yourself. Whether you like it or not, you're always yourself. You have to unbecome what you are not. You have to become free from what you are not. Individual sense of individuality is not you is not doesn't qualify your nature. It's not an adjective of your nature. Embodiment is not an adjective of your nature. Time is not in our time boundedness is not an adjective of your nature. And physicality is not an adjective of your nature. And thought, to be an object of thought is not an adjective of your nature. And therefore, whatever is thought to be an adjective of your nature, you have to become free from it. Understand that is called what is called understanding, please. That nothing is my adjective. My nature is nirvisesham. Nirvisesham means I have no adjectives. Existence has no adjectives. Consciousness has no adjectives. In this manner, understanding as free from all the attributes, there is no sansarga between Atma and Deha. There is no sansarga between Atma and the time. There is no sansarga between Atma and thought. They don't qualify it. Like the greenness qualifies the tree, in that manner, there is nothing that qualifies Atma. And therefore, Atma is nirvisesham. In this manner, those who understand, they become amritaha. They become amritaha. It is also said, it is just said, they become amritaha. They don't become amritaha, they become free from, they understand that they are free from non-eternity. They understand they are free from non-eternity. They understand that they are free from time boundness. And time boundness is non-eternity. They understand that they are free from change. Change is also non-eternity. They are free from embodiment. Embodiment is also non-eternity. Body dies, and therefore I die. In this manner, one thinks. And therefore, to be free from embodiment, one understands that one is free from embodiment. And free from embodiment, freedom from embodiment is freedom from non-eternity, because embodiment is non-eternity. And therefore, ye yatad viduhu amritaste bhavanti. It is as though said they become eternal, but they don't become eternal. They only become free from. They only understand that they are free from non-eternity. Yada panchavatishtante. Now it is said yoga. When Vedanta is not able to be understood, then one follows yoga. Yoga means you retain your mind and senses quiet. You think in terms of tranquility. You be tranquil. You try to be quiet. That is also useful, but Vedanta is not becoming quiet. Vedanta is disproving, like when you wake up from the dream, you don't become quiet, but you understand that the dream is false, despite in the light of your nature. You survive the dream. The one who survives the dream is you, the conscious being. And the conscious, in the light of that conscious being, the dream is disproved. But don't say that quietude disproves the dream. Quietude doesn't disprove, the nature disproves. It's not the waterness disproves the waveness. The woodness disproves the tableness. Therefore, the nature disproves the creation. What is the nature and what is the creation? The nature and the creation have to be discerned. That is Vedanta. Vedanta is meant to disprove the creation, to disprove the embodiment, to disprove anything that is born. Because your nature is being. Every sound is a creation, and silence is something that is your being. A silence is not created. In the light of silence, in the light of silence as your nature, the sound is disproved. Disproving is different from quietening. And therefore, when Vedanta is not followable by a person, then one follows yoga. He tries to follow the yoga, he tries to follow tranquility. Tranquility is something. Yada, what is tranquility? Yada, when pancha means five senses, avatishtante, when all the five senses remain quiet, five sense organs, jnanani, panch jnanani means five sense organs, avatishtante, they remain quiet. Manasa saha, along with the mind. Manasa saha means along with the mind. When the senses become tranquil, along with the mind, buddhischana vicheshtati, and the intellect also doesn't think, is not determining what is what. The senses are quiet, the mind, the choice is quiet. You are not trying to choose something, you are not imagining something, you are not believing something, there is no thought entertained, and there is no thought of intellect also entertained. The thought of mind is a feeling, the thought of intellect is thinking, and there is neither feeling nor thinking. Buddhischana vicheshtati, when the intellect doesn't move, na vicheshtati, tamahuhu, and that situation, that tranquility, ahuhu, they call paramam gatim. It is called the paramam gatim, means that is what you can accomplish. Beyond the tranquility, you can't achieve anything from the yoga. It is a gati. It is a gati means it is reached. Tranquility is what you reach through yoga. Yoga means tranquility. Yoga can only help you to gain tranquility. And that tranquility it cannot replace Vedanta. But when the Vedanta is not understandable, when you don't understand what is disproval, what is the nature, the word disproval, if this is not understandable, then you follow the tranquility. Then you understand tranquility is much better than disproval, etc. Because this universe can never be disproved. That's what you think. This universe is not there, is non-exist. It cannot be proved independent of perception, please. And therefore, how can you not disprove it? It cannot be proved. It needs to be proved independent of perception. How can you prove it? How can you prove that there is an object independent of your perception? Independent of your perception, its perceptibility is its proof. And minus perceptibility means your perception. And it is there, and then I see it. I say that it is there before you see it. What is the proof? What is the proof? It is its perceptibility. Unless it is there, I can't see it. That is the avidya. Because in the dream, seeing is being, seeing is being. When you see the object, then alone you think that the object is there. When you don't see the object, then the object is not felt to be. And therefore, when a person doesn't understand what is disproval, what is proving, what is disproving, what is self-evidence, and what is uh, being, etc., then one understands only tranquility. Tranquility, because he is so disturbed, he understands only tranquility. I say it is not the tranquility that disproves the universe. Yoga is only, it can't replace Vedanta. Vedanta is different. Tranquility cannot disprove your embodiment. You may be a tranquil person, but you may be a tranquil idiot also. Hamara Guruji used to say, you may become quiet, you may become a quiet idiot. Ignorance doesn't go. The illiteracy doesn't go just because a person becomes quite tranquil. Tranquility is not the answer for avidya, please. Avidya goes away only when one understands one's nature. That nature is something. Just to be hot is the nature of the fire. To be luminous is the nature of the sunlight. In the same manner, to be is the nature of your being, your existence. To be all comprehensive is your nature. To be conscious is your nature. To be embodiment is not your nature. Embodiment is not your nature, please. If embodiment were your nature, it would not go. In the night, it becomes unmanifest. Anything that becomes unmanifest is not your nature, please. Your nature never becomes unmanifest. Changelessness doesn't. Change may become manifest, now unmanifest. And therefore, change is not your nature. Changelessness is your nature. Changelessness never becomes unmanifest. Changelessness becomes, it is always evident as you, as your nature. Changelessness is your nature. Change becomes manifest now, unmanifest now. In Sushupti, change becomes unmanifest. In Jagrat, change becomes manifest. Anything that becomes now manifest, now unmanifest, is not your nature. And therefore, when a person feels that it's too much for me to understand nature, disproval, self evidence, etc., then one goes for yoga. Otherwise, yoga cannot replace Vedanta, please. Yoga is tranquility. Yada, when pancha jnanani, when five senses avatishtante means remain. Manasa saha, along with the mind. Buddhischana vicheshtati, when all the five senses remain quiet, along with the mind, and when the intellect doesn't move, that means it's tranquility. Tamahuhu, that they call Paramam Gatim, is the best that you can achieve through yoga. Tranquility is the best that you can achieve through yoga. And therefore, most of the people teach Vedanta also as a yoga, as a tranquility, because tranquility is the best bet. People always fall for tranquility because they are so tired. They are so tired and they're so tension ridden, and therefore they want some tranquility. Yoga may give you tranquility, but yoga is not the answer to man's struggle, please. It is the Vedanta that is the answer, because Vedanta tells you that your nature is consciousness, and to be conscious, and as a conscious being, you have no caste, you have no creed, you are not, you have no adjective, please. As a consciousness, you have no adjective, and it is the adjectives that disturb you. You are rich, that disturbs you. You are poor, poverty is your adjective. You take it as your adjective. You are short, you take it to be your adjective. You are tall, you take it to be your adjective. You are underweight, you take it to be your adjective, and disturbs you. And therefore, Saviseshata disturbs you. Nirviseshata liberates you. You are Nirviseshaha. As consciousness, you are Nirviseshaha. As the body, you are Saviseshaha. The body has adjectives. Consciousness has no adjectives. But if you think that consciousness has adjectives, that is called avidya. That is called consciousness is the body. I am conscious, I am also the body. That is avidya. I am conscious, one says, but you are solely consciousness. You are not the body. You are solely conscious, and that is exactly that is what is called nirviseshata. Nirviseshata liberates you. Savisheshta binds you. And therefore, when all the five senses remain quiet, when the mind becomes quiet, when the intellect is quiet, that quietude, that tranquility is the best that you can achieve through yoga, because you use your will to be quiet. And in Vedanta, even the will is disproved. Even the willing is disproved. You use the will to understand the truth. And in that truth, like you use the will to lie down, to go to sleep, and inside the sleep, the will also is not there. You transcend the will also. You use the will to go to sleep. You use the will to go to sleep, but inside the sleep, you are free from the will. In the same manner, the will doesn't travel up to the truth. The will is used to know the truth, but the will is not. The will doesn't travel up to the truth. The will doesn't qualify the truth. In the same manner, you use the tranquility to know the truth, but the tranquility as a relative tranquility is not, it doesn't qualify the truth. It is absolute quietude. Absolute quietude is different from relative quietude. Yoga gives you relative quietude. It cannot give you the absolute. And therefore, tam yogamiti manyante sthiram indriya dharanam. Yoga is called that tam, that yogamiti manyante. Manyante means they think. The wise men think always. Yoga is that. Sthiram indriya dharanam, the firm state of the senses. The firm means the steady state of the senses, the quiet state of the senses. When the senses are quiet, that is called yoga. Apramattas tada bhavet, bhavati. Apramattas tada bhavati. In fact, tada bhavet hona chahiye. Apramattaha. One has to become apramattaha. It is a mandate. Apramattas tada bhavet. Let one become apramattaha. Let one become non-different. Don't take it for granted that the quietude is there. Quietude can come and go. It has gradation. Yogo hi prabhavapyav. Yoga is why? Because you have to be apramattaha. Apramattaha means you should be always be on your toes. Why? Because yoga has ups and downs. Yoga can grow and the tranquility can increase, can decrease. And therefore, if it has to remain quiet, if it has to be steady, the tranquility has to be steady, you have to be very clear about this. You have to be very careful about this. And therefore, apramatastada bhavet hona chahiye, mandate. Because whenever you are using your will, you can give a mandate to yourself. Apramatastada bhavet. Like karmakanda is always mandated. Agnishtoma is mandated. Anything that the yoga also is mandated. The physical exercises are mandated because they are come under karma. The mental, when you use your will to avoid silence, avoid noise, avoid disturbance, avoid motion, avoid restlessness, that also can be mandated. Can be mandated because that is also a kind of karma. To avoid is karma, and to pursue is karma. To avoid is also karma. To pursue shanti is karma, and you cannot pursue shanti. You can only avoid disturbance. Vedanta doesn't avoid disturbance. Vedanta disproves disturbance because it is made of consciousness. It is made of your being. It is made of your being. By understanding your being, everything is disproved. Everything that disturbs you is disproved. Disproval is a big word, And therefore, man doesn't fall for disapproval. He always goes for yoga. And therefore, most of the institutions in this world function as a yoga institutions, not as Vedanta. Vedanta is meant to disprove Badha. Badha means to disprove. When you wake up from the dream is disproved. When you wake up when you go to the deep sleep state, the waking state, the dream state, the deep sleep state, all the three states are not there. You don't experience the deep sleep state as one of the three states. That means none of the three states is there. That means from here you can understand in the deep sleep state as an anubhava, when you look at it as an anubhava, all the three states are disproved. And therefore, all the three states are not there. Only you are there. Only your existence in the nirvisesham is there. Neither waking is there, nor dream is there, nor deep sleep state as one of the three states is there, as a memory is there. There is only nirvisesham, advayam, non-dual state is there. Dvaitam is disproved. And therefore, by looking at your nature, what is not your nature gets disproved. By looking at the rope, the snake, that which is not the nature of the rope, is disproved. When the disproval becomes too difficult to understand, when man goes for tranquility, yoga, and the yoga always gives you tranquility, and the tranquility is also a kind of achievement, is a gati, please. Like sadgati, durgati, it is also a kind of a gati. Tam yogamit manyanti, tam ahu paramam gatim. That is the best that you can achieve through yoga. Tranquility is the best that you can achieve through yoga. Tam yogamit manyante sthiram indriya dharana. Tam yoga is considered to be that which is indeed a steady, a tranquil state of senses. Sthiram indriya dharanam. Apramattas tada bhavet. May one become apramattaha. May you not be indifferent to your tranquility. Don't take the tranquility for granted. Yogo hi prabhavapyayo. Prabhava means it can grow. Apyaya means it can come down. It has a gradation. Tranquility has a gradation. Nature has no gradation. Please understand this point very clearly. Nature has no gradation. The heat of the fire has no gradation. Wherever there is fire, there is heat. Whereas tranquility has gradation. Consciousness has no gradation. Consciousness, whether you are awake or dreaming or asleep, you are conscious. You are conscious of the waking, you are conscious of the dream objects, you are aware of the absence of the waking objects and the dream objects in the deep sleep state. You are being there. And therefore, seeing the absence means it's your being free from it. Seeing the absence of thought means being without thought. Being without thought is considered to be seeing the absence of thought. And therefore, in the deep sleep state, you are being free from all the thoughts. And that is why you are being free from all the thoughts in the deep sleep state. And that being free from thoughts is the disproval of the thoughts. The disprove when you see the rope, you disprove the snake. Similarly, when you see the one moon, you disprove the second moon. When you disprove the object as it is, when you see the object as it is, your illusion about the object is disproved. In Marubhumi, in sand, you see water. And when you see sand as sand, you see the water is disproved. And the word disproval, don't get, don't, please don't get irritated by the word disproval. In fact, all your problems need to be disproved. Anything that you can transcend can be disproved. Anything in the deep sleep state, you transcend your embodiment. You transcend the whole universe. The whole universe is in your embodiment. The universe is not something that is outside you. Like the dream looks outside you. The dream is not outside you. It is seen within you. It looks outside you to look real. It looks real. It is there, and I see it. And for that, it looks outside you. The waking also looks outside you. And having looked outside you, it looks real and it looks independent of your perception. And you start thinking it is there, and therefore I perceive it. You can't prove it unless it is perceived. And therefore, it is neither outside you nor apart from you. It's not parallel to you. It is within you. It is you. It is not another parallel to you inside you. It is not inside you parallel to you. It is you. Like wave is not parallel to water, either outside water or inside water. It's not that it is not parallel to water, that is what is to be understood. It's not parallel to water. It is water. In the same manner, the creation is not parallel to the source. The creation is the source. And the source is nirvisesham, consciousness. From Adhyaropadrishti, it is the source of everything. The water from the Adhyaropadrishti is the source of all the waves. But from its own point of view, it is water alone. There is nothing else. Wave is not a second reality, is not a second entity, please. And therefore, tam yogamiti manyante sthiramindriya dharanam apramatastada bhavati yogo he prabhavapyayo. Yoga has ups and downs. Because yoga has ups and downs, tranquility has ups and downs, and therefore you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. No, because it is upside, it is subject to become more and less. It is subject to increase or decrease. Any pleasure can become increase or decrease. There is no difference between tranquility, peace, and pleasure. Peace also is something. Tranquility also. Call it tranquility, call it peace. It has ups and downs. Your peace also can become less and more, and your tranquility also can become less and more. But your nature is ever the same. And in the light of the nature only, everything is disproved. Everything is disproved. And therefore, and the more of it we will see in the next class, Ji. I'm all right. Thank you. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.